Hello and welcome to Kurt Angle Live here on One True Sports. So excited to have you all with us today. Paul Bromwell, you know who I am. But man, Kurt, it's so great to see you. We all know our Olympic hero. How have you been, man, the last few months? Running around, vacationing, keeping yourself busy. Look at you, all nice and tan. How you been,
Yeah,
Kurt?
I'm doing good, man. I had a lot of fun this summer. I went on a couple of vacations. Getting ready to have my anniversary, celebrate my anniversary with my wife this week. We're going to go to Nemacolin Woodlands and really beautiful place where you can kind of relax and enjoy each other's company. I've been doing really well. I've been doing a lot of daddy duty shit, though. I'm not going to lie to you.
I saw you at Kennywood, so that was a good time. Kennywood Amusement Park out there in Pittsburgh with family. Online, Orlando and Nemacolin, beautiful place. 84 Lumber, Joe Hardy.
Yeah.
If you guys are in the Pittsburgh area resort, my grandparents frequented there often when I was growing up. I got to go check that out too. So, man, it's so good to see you doing the daddy thing. I wanted to mention before we kick off the show, and I want to tell our fans and those that are going to ask questions, the best way, because we have Kurt here for a little while today, to get your questions in is to use the super chat function. Because I have a few things I'm going to touch with him right off the bat, but I'm telling you that's the best way. Use super chat, and we'll jump right in here to get those questions and make sure your questions answered. But man, I noticed, we know you have a talented family, but your daughters are crushing it. First, you have your daughter who's crushing it with her music. Your other daughter swimming. I see you guys have been going out and checking out some of the Olympics. I know you're excited about the Summer Olympics,
Yeah.
but you got to be a proud daddy right now the last few months.
Yeah. My daughter Kira's gotten into her music. She's releasing a couple of hits or songs. She's doing really well with that. Juliana is doing incredibly well in swimming. And for her reward, we took her to the Olympic trials, the swimming
So
trials.
cool.
And, what's crazy is she got, we couldn't get, they wanted us to go to the autograph signings and wait in line. And what I told them is if I do that, if I wait in line, people are going to come to me for autographs.
That's
So
right.
it's going to mess everything up. And they were like, well, you're going to have to wait in line just like everyone else. So I totally understood. But instead, I decided to contact Regan Smith on Cameo. She's also on Cameo. So I contacted her and I said, can you sign an autograph for my daughter or meet up with her or whatever? And she said, well, I'm focusing this week on the trials. After the trials, I'll meet up with her. I'd be happy to. And I said, well, we're only going for one day, so we're not going to stay the whole week. And she said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She said, well, you know what? How about I give you my dad's number and you touch base with him and we'll get an autograph to your daughter that way. And you know what she did? Oh, she's a class act. She signed the bathing suit of the event where she broke the world record.
Get
Signed it
out.
to my daughter, Juliana.
No.
So, yeah. So we were framing it and putting it in her room, but it was really cool that Regan Smith did that. She broke the world record with this swimsuit on, and she gave us the swimsuit. It's incredible.
And now your daughter, it'll be framed in her room, and it's something she'll treasure for the rest of her life.
Yeah, it gives her motivation every day.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's a great story, and it's so cool how that all worked out. So, man, it is. It's just so cool to see you. I know you got a lot going on, spending time with your family, but we do appreciate you being here. I see some super chats rolling in, so I want to catch up with you because you've also been busy with a few things. First, Ric Flair was on Busted Open after we recorded the last time you and I were together in May. I want to read you some fun stuff that Flair had to say and get your reaction. But the Nature Boy, he was a styling and profiling on the May 29th episode of Busted Open. And he was talking about all the array of stars from the Attitude Era. And he mentioned that he flat out told Kurt Angle, he said, listen, you need to avoid WCW. I said, you don't want to go to Atlanta, brother. You'll get lost. Yeah. He said, we were in the gym working out in Nashville, Tennessee, and I met Kurt several times. And he walked over and said, I'm thinking about getting into pro wrestling. And he said, what do you think about me going to WCW? And Ric Flair thought about it for a second, and he said, I went into the locker room, got my phone out, and I called Vince McMahon and put him on the phone, and he was working with Dory Funk 2 weeks later. Kurt, when healthy, is absolutely one of the great ones, a special kind of athlete and a special kind of guy, and legitimately really tough. But, man, what did you think about hearing that story? Did he tell you, no, don't go to WCW?
Yeah, you know, I was like surprised because Rick was in WCW. And,
Yeah.
you know, and here he didn't want me to go because he said I would get annihilated. You know, they would bury me. And I think he was probably right.
Oh, yeah.
But he pointed me in the right direction, and I went with Vince McMahon, and it wasn't the wrong decision. I mean, Vince knew what to do with me from day one, and I took off, and I never looked back. So, thanks to Ric Flair for not. I wouldn't say that my career would have been ruined if I ever went to WCW, but it would have taken me a lot longer to get to where I was going to go. And so I'm very grateful for Rick's, advice.
Yeah, that was a cool story, and most of us have heard it before, but it was just cool to hear him talk about it in May, and because my goodness, the rocket ship was tied to your back as soon as you came into WCW, so it was just cool.
WWE.
Yeah, WWE. There you go. Listen to me. Hey, a couple other news-making things I wanted to bring up to you since you and I have been together. Gable Steveson signs with the Buffalo Bills. What did you think about that one?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
The kid's a super athlete. I mean, the kid, you think Brock Lesnar is an athlete? This kid, he might be a little tad bit better athlete than Brock Lesnar. And I don't say that, that's very difficult for me to say because especially for Brock's size, he's an incredible athlete. Him and Gable Steveson are. And, but this guy, I mean, he is so diverse. He's fast. He's athletic. I've seen him do backflips just standing there. I mean, he's a 250-pound monster.
My goodness.
For him to be able to do stuff like that, it's just incredible. So I wasn't surprised that he signed with the Buffalo Bills. I'm surprised they didn't put him on the practice team for a little bit because he never played football before. I don't think, at least not in college. So, but you know what? I think he's going to make a huge impact right away. I really do. It's crazy, but he's a one-in-a-lifetime individual, and that's how I think of him.
That's cool. Now, I wanted to hear your opinion on it, having met him and get your thoughts on him. Continuing with the football thing, buddy.
Oh, let me tell you a quick story about
Sure, go ahead.
I met him. He's like, hey, Kurt Angle, hey, I just want to tell you I respect your career, and I want to be just like you. And I was like, oh, thank you, Gable. He goes, you know what? No, I want to be better than you. And I was like, holy shit.
That takes some balls.
What an asshole thing to say.
I know, right?
I want to be better than you. I said, well, good luck, man. Go for it.
You're going to need it, pal. That's awesome, man. You got to love his moxie, though. Put it out there. Well, let's see what you do with the Bills, pal. Oh, boy. Hey, and I was talking about football because another thing which I wanted to talk to you about personally as a Steelers fan, seeing you coach with Dick LeBeau for the Troy Polamalu game, buddy. I'm not kidding. We last got together in April, and you're just doing all this stuff. Yeah. And I was like, man, what kind of experience was that? Walking out on the field, the tunnel, not just to wave the terrible towel, but you're out there kind of help coach and interact with all the old school players.
You know what? I remember, standing there and all these Steelers that I watched, for the past 15, 20 years. They're all standing there and I'm marking out and they're doing the same with me, but I'm like, oh my God, these guys, these are my heroes. Even though they're younger than me, they were still my heroes. And I mean, especially Ben Roethlisberger, he came up to me, he started carrying a conversation with me. He said, hey, Kurt, hey. Before, obviously in WWE, but he said, hey, our daughters swim together. And I knew that, because they're both part of the same swim club. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, hey, we fathers need to stick together. And I'm like, this is so freaking cool. Ben
Roethlisberger, so cool.
Talking to me, like I'm one of his friends. It was really cool. But he's a good dude, man. They're all great dudes. Troy Polamalu, the most humble man I've ever met. Very friendly, very nice, very warm. I really enjoyed doing that game. I was really not happy with the turnout. They had probably about 5,000 people.
Okay.
But, for the first time ever, you got to start somewhere. So 5,000 isn't that bad when you're talking about a charity event. But they did it at the Acrisure Stadium. So it's a 70,000 seat stadium, and there was 5,000 people. I mean, it was a good turnout, but I'm sure it'll get bigger and better every year.
Yeah, it'll grow for sure. Bring it, especially when you talk about the name players that you mentioned, Palomalu, Roethlisberger, and a lot more legends too. And then guys like Kurt Angle showing up too.
They were all there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's a who's who list. And when I saw you there, and I saw your boys and getting pictures, how cool is that for them too? Cody and others to get pictures with those guys. Such a cool time.
Steelers is Cody's team, even though
I know
he loves the Steelers. Yeah.
I know, man. And so that was cool. I was happy to see you there. A couple of big appearances I wanted to highlight too. Again, I see the super chat filling up. Keep them coming, guys. I'm going to get to all of those. WrestleCon in Cleveland, Saturday, August 2nd. You're going to be there Saturday only. So if you want to meet Kurt Angle, make sure August 2nd, before this big extravaganza SummerSlam, you're going to be there. WrestleCon.com. It's at the Marriott downtown. But Kurt, you're going to be in Cleveland before that big event, signing autographs, getting pictures. So make sure you go see Kurt there. And then the other big thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the Cauliflower Alley Club. They've announced you as the Luthez Art Abrams Lifetime Achievement Award. It's August 19th through 21st in Las Vegas. Kurt, another big time announcement since the last time you and I were together. Things are rolling for you, man. Congratulations.
You know what, man? I'm so blessed. I've been racking up these awards. It's crazy. When you get old, you start getting awards for, the shit you did in the past.
Right.
It's really cool. I mean, I was surprised that I got this Lifetime Achievement Award. This is really cool. I want to thank the Cauliflower Alley Club and their voters for voting me in. It's really cool to accept this award. I'm really excited about it, too. It's going to be in Vegas. My wife and I are going to go there.
Oh, good.
They wanted my wife to induct me or to do the speech for me. I was like, Giovanni's not going to do that. Are you freaking crazy? So they said they'll have one of their people.
I got you.
Do the speech. Yeah. So.
Oh, man. Well, congratulations. And, a lot of Kurt Angle fans. And so got to be thrilled to hear that about you. Lifetime Luthez Art Abrams Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, that's big time, Kurt. So congratulations to you. And hopefully you and Giovanna are able to have a little bit of fun out there while you're in Vegas too. It's just
we'll be doing some gambling. Not a lot, but my wife gets the bug every once in a while.
Oh, does she? Okay, so she's the one we got to watch when it comes.
Yeah, I got to calm her down. I got to hey, we have a budget here.
You got to rein her in.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, man. Good stuff. I'm still not done. 2 more headlines, and then we're going to the questions, guys. Load them up. Undertaker, he's got a new podcast, and he was recently on Chris Van Vliet, and he talked about you. And I want to read this quote. Kurt Angle, he gets his flowers, but he didn't get enough credit for how good he really was. And man, for an Olympic gold medalist to do what he did and be able to put his ego on the shelf and make himself look like a friggin' idiot week after week after week, it was so entertaining. He was a machine, man. He could cut promos. I mean, his vignettes and his backstage stuff was, next level, and his work was so solid. How much does it mean to you to hear words like that from The Undertaker even to this day?
Undertaker is the most respected wrestler in the history of wrestling, more respected than any other wrestler. He's held in the highest regard. And I'm just proud to call him my friend. And for him to say what he said about me, that's nothing short of amazing. It makes me know that I made a huge impact on the pro wrestling community and that I got a lot of respect from my peers.
You certainly did, Kurt. And it was just tremendous when I saw that article and read that he said that on Chris's show. Chris Van Vliet, obviously next level podcast. You're doing great work with so many wrestlers. You've been on his show. But to hear that Undertaker's now doing a successful podcast, congratulations to him. And it's just, again, anytime I hear guys like him speaking so highly of you, it means something. Finally, before I get to the super chat, one of your, I don't even want to say proteges, but someone who I know has looked up to you, currently in the WWE. I'm going there. That's right, Chad Gable. He's making a name for himself right now. And Randy Orton recently shared some comments with Chad, and this made it on the Cheap Heat podcast. And Chad shared this on that podcast. He said, one of the highest compliments I've ever been paid, and it happened a few weeks ago, came from Randy Orton. This is Chad. He said he found me back in the locker room after one of my matches, and he said, "You've made it, man. There's no more next Kurt Angle. That stuff is done. You're not next Kurt Angle. You're you. You found it. You found who you are, and you're showing everybody." Chad Gable. I mean, talk about him and how you've seen his, not only as a wrestler, but his character evolve over the last year. It's been great.
It's developed incredibly well. I just love Chad. He has such a great energy about him, great attitude, and when they said you're the next Kurt Angle, he took it. He said, "You know what? I'm proud to be the next Kurt Angle. That's a great compliment." But I think Randy's right. He's earned his own stripes. I believe that he's done enough of his own stuff that now he is labeled as Chad Gable. He's no longer the next Kurt Angle. He's Chad Gable, and he's going to show the whole world what he can do.
I love it. And now it looks like paired with the Creed brothers, it's like the next, they say Team Angle, but I mean, they're creating their own identity. And the Creed brothers, obviously studs, a stud tag team. So it's going to be fun to see what they come up with. But Kurt, with all that out of the way, it's time to go to the fans and the listeners and the viewers. And we're going to do some questions here. And we're going to start. And again, I'm not making up these usernames. We're just going to go with how they enter their usernames. Mr. Marijuana CE Cold. He says, RVD, in-ring and out-ring stories. And has Kurt got a dad joke for us? So let's start with the RVD stuff. Any good in-ring or out-of-the-ring stories that you have on your old friend, RVD?
Yeah, no, I don't have any in-ring, out-of-ring. I didn't really hang out with RVD. We're good friends, don't get me wrong. But, he did his own thing. He liked the 420 kind of stuff. He just beat to a different drum. I wasn't into that stuff back then. But, man, what a great individual. He always had a great attitude. He always had this I'll do whatever you want attitude. It was really cool to be able to work with him because he was so easy to work with. And not only that, but he came up with some incredible ideas. So he was very creative. Not only did he say, "Hey, go ahead and you lead and you tell me what you want to do in this match." He was so diverse that he could do just about anything. But he had some incredible ideas too. He reminds me a lot of Christian Cage. Christian was also the same way. Christian could structure a match better than anybody, and RVD was the same. He was really good. You know what? I'll tell you a funny story. RVD, he wasn't RVD unless he did his smoke. So before we were going to wrestle in a match one night, he's like, "Hey, give me 5 minutes," because he couldn't think of what he wanted to do in the match. So he goes and smokes. He comes back and he has all these ideas, like a million different ideas. It was like, holy shit. This stuff made him smarter. It was just incredible.
I love it. He, by the way, he's doing a great podcast over with our buddy Dominic D'Angelo. They have their show, and so check it out. It's on the One True Sport Network as well. But man, talk about a laid back guy, and just to your point, an incredible performer in the ring and out of the ring. Would have loved to see more RVD Kurt Angle matches.
There wasn't enough. I remember we had a world title match. It was actually triple threaded with Stone Cold Steve Austin involved. But I would have loved to do a single program with them, definitely.
Mr. Marijuana says, "Do you have a good go-to dad joke, Kurt?"
No.
Anything that makes the kids roll their eyes.
Why would you put me on the spot?
I know. If you don't, no worries. We'll keep it rolling. It's okay.
Yeah,
if you think it's something as we go, just interject with it. We'll keep going here. He has another question. Man, will you be a manager one day? And Main Event Mafia, if you guys had to wrestle or book in WWE, any what would be a fantasy booked match, maybe main event Mafia, I guess, in the WWE against another group? I think he's asking. Let's just start with that first question.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself being a manager or in a managerial role one day, or are you happy kind of just navigating in where you're headed now with Father of the Year?
You know what? I'm happy doing what I'm doing, but would I consider managing? Yeah, it would have to be the right thing. It would have to be the right deal, the right program. Not only that, but the money has to be right. I will tell you this. I feel a little badly about doing this, but a few years ago, WWE wanted me to manage Matt Riddle. And, I was into it. I was like, okay, because we could have some great vignettes, him being a lot like RVD. And so I think we would have had great chemistry. But it didn't happen, unfortunately, because they didn't offer me the right amount of money. I mean,
that's often what it comes down to, business.
Yeah, and they're, the money they offered me was really not good. I mean, not to say anything bad about the company, but it was like, okay, that was kind of kicked to the nuts,
right?
kind of offer,
Yeah, so. And again, different regime too, and different circumstance, I'm sure, back in the day. So, totally understandable. It has to work out for both parties, Kurt. Makes total sense. Zol Lopez just chimes in and says, "Glad to see Kurt," in all capital letters. Kurt, I'm telling you, when we announced just a few short days ago that you were going to be here, I can't tell you how many DMs and messages I got. Like, is he really going to be here? Are you sure? You promise? Yes, I promise.
I love my fans. I love them.
There you go.
Really,
we love you too. And I've missed doing this with you. Dale Strunk is up next. He has a question. He says, "Hey, Kurt, love what you do. Aside from Bret Hart, who were some of your dream opponents?" Like, if
you know what? Looking back, Ricky Steamboat, even Macho Man, he was really good. Yeah. He was underrated as a worker because his character was so damn strong, but he could work. Guys today like Kenny Omega, I would have loved to wrestle Kenny. That would have been a great match. But there are a lot of guys. Roman Reigns, I thought that Roman has proved to the world that he's one of the greatest of all time. He really has. And I'm not going to lie to you, when he started out, they were pushing him a little too fast, a little too hard, and he just wasn't ready. But he took to it, and he just kept working and grinding, and eventually he became a master at it. And I just have all the respect in the world for him.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like they pumped the brakes a little bit, and then they aligned him with Heyman, and then just took off like a rocket ship for sure. And then we also know you're a fan of Will Ospreay and what he's doing in the ring.
I love Will. Yeah, he's another one I would love to work with. Him and Kenny had this incredible match that I saw. It was unreal, and I would have loved to work with both of them. Could you imagine a triple threat match with the three of us?
Kurt Angle in his prime with Omega and Will Ospreay. I mean, come on, that's breaking pay-per-view records. Seriously,
I don't know about that.
I do. Okay, you can put I'll go on record as saying that it would be incredible, Kurt, because especially when you see, what did I just read about you from Undertaker? I mean, unbelievable, the respect and value that people put on you.
I will say this: I get a lot of respect from my peers, and that means more to me than anything else. Don't get me wrong. I love having respect for my fans, but knowing that my peers had held me in high regard, that's the greatest feeling in the world, because you're working with them, and they're telling you, listen, you're one of the best of all time. And it just means a lot to me.
And Kenny and Will both put you over as being huge fans of your work too. So,
I was really surprised that Kenny Omega said that he tries to get ideas and techniques watching me. And that made me feel really good, because Kenny's, he's, in my mind, he's the best worker in the world right now, and him or AJ Styles, and that's just my opinion. But hearing that from him is incredible.
It's been really cool to see a little bit of a run after WrestleMania that AJ had with Cody, and they pushed him to the main event because AJ is still got it. 47 years old and still looks amazing, man.
I know I heard he's going to retire, though. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read it online somewhere, and he said it was because of he had enough bumps in his career. And listen, AJ took a lot of bumps, probably more than anybody. He sacrificed his body every single match, always worked 120%. He was a guy that when you worked with him was a lot like Rey Mysterio. He would fly around and all you had to do was catch him, and it was easy on me, but really difficult on him. And but AJ has proven that he's one of the top right now today. I still to this day. He also said he wants to retire because his son's playing D1 baseball in college now, and he doesn't want to miss any of his games. So I guess AJ's going to be doing daddy duty and following his kids around, watching them play sports.
Sounds like somebody else I know. But you know what? And maybe it's a lighter schedule. I'm sure, he's starting to think about that more and more. He's in phenomenal, no pun intended, shape and can still get it done in the ring. So I'm sure at some point it's coming, but man, what a great guy too. No one knows that better than you do. He's one of those guys that everybody just has something. Nobody has anything negative to say about him.
No, because he never has anything negative to say about anybody. AJ is one of the coolest guys I've ever met. And he's one of my closest friends till this day.
Man, that's great. That's great. That's one guy that I wish we could have gotten together on the Kurt Angle show at one point. And never say never, down the road, way down the road, but you never know. We'll see how that all works out. But a big fan of his work. We'll continue on with our super chat. And this is one of our members, David Van Boglen. David is the man. And I know he's going through a lot of health issues right now. But David, we just appreciate you so much. He said, Paul, good to see you, my man. And Kurt, I'm recovering from back fusion surgery. And I see the doc today about my upcoming neck fusion from C4 to C7. The back hurt like hell. What am I in for on the neck?
Oh, God bless him. C3 to C7. Oh, man. Listen, man. I know you're going to be okay. I promise you. You're going to be very limited. You're not going to be able to turn your head very much. Having that many levels fused together. I don't know what happened in your life and why you had to have back and neck fusion. But my prayers are with you, and I hope you recover very well. And I just want to say you're in for a long journey, but just keep your head up and keep plugging forward.
He is a tremendous value, a tremendous guy I've gotten to know the last few months, really helps us out a lot here. And David, we wish you nothing but the best and a speedy recovery. Kurt, I think this is as good a time as any just to get an update on how you're feeling physically. You've had the knee replacements over, almost close to 2 years now, has it been?
Almost, yeah. You know what? My knees are great. I don't have any pain. At one point, my doctor said, listen, your knees are bent. They were literally bent. Like I couldn't stand straight up. I look like an old man walking around. And he said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get your knees straight. My wife, Giovanna, said, listen, doc, you better get his knees straight. She basically threatened him. He's like, listen, I'll do the best I can. So what he did is he smartened up and realized once I had the surgery, when I went to rehab, he had the rehab individual straighten my knees out by putting pressure on them and having me in a certain position for a certain period of time. And you know what? My knees straightened out. I couldn't believe it. I actually gained 3/4 of an inch in height. So I'm actually taller now, almost an inch taller. And it's because of my wife, Giovanna.
She is just a blessing of all blessings.
Yes,
I want to tell you something. When I first met you in person, obviously we had already started working together on the show, but then I got to meet you together in person. We were going to do a live show, and I had not seen you in a while as far as on television. And I saw the way you were walking, and I was like, oh my goodness, what has happened to Kurt Angle?
I know.
It was so noticeable.
That's why I retired early, Paul, is because I saw that on TV. I was like, oh man, I look like an old man, and I don't want fans to remember me like that. I mean, in my prime, I was perhaps one of the best of all time. And here I am, I'm looking like an old man struggling in the ring. I just hated it. And so that's the reason why I didn't go to the following WrestleMania to retire John Cena. I retired with Baron Corbin because I didn't have a choice. We were doing a program together, and Vince McMahon couldn't just switch Baron with John Cena. So he said, listen, you got to go with Baron, continue with this program, and wrestle him at WrestleMania. And then the following year, we'll have you retire with Cena. I said, I can't wait a year, Vince. It's just, my body is just too banged up. So unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Ah, man. Listen, guys, get your question. Kurt can be with us for about 15 more minutes. So get your question and use the super chat function. That's what's working right now. And we have a few more here for you, Kurt. So get them in. I have a question from Liam Evans. Kurt, do you believe in Joe Hendry?
I believe in Joe Hendry. Yes, I do. I got to wrestle Joe over in the UK, and it was for pro wrestling. I can't, WCPW or something like that. And he's good. And not only that, he had this character where he would sing songs about his opponent.
Yes.
And he did one about me, and I was like, holy shit, this guy needs to be in WWE. I mean, he was Elias times 100,000. Okay, like he was able to tell stories about his opponents every single week, and he would come up with these songs, and he would play the guitar, and it was just really impressive. And not only that, but he was a great worker in the ring. So I knew this kid was going to be something special. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't been pushed even further at this point in his career.
It's I don't know if you've noticed it or not or heard about it. NXT has started a partnership the last several months with TNA. And
Joe Hendry ended up at NXT.
Yeah. And now the song, I believe in Joe Hendry. And then it's like the place explodes. He comes down, flashes his face. It's so awesome.
Yeah, he deserves that, man. I mean, the kid is multi-talented. He really is.
And but how cool is it to see NXT's relationship with your longtime company, TNA?
You know what? I'm glad they're doing it. It's just for a long time they considered TNA competition, and I don't know if it was ever competition. The Monday Night Wars was real competition, WCW versus WWF. But TNA, when I was there, we weren't getting near the ratings WWE was, but we were doing pretty well. I mean, we're getting 2 million viewers a week, and it was pretty impressive for a small company. But we were never competing with WWE. But it's kind of cool that they realize that now, and they want to reach out and mix with other companies, and with a company like TNA, and I think that's really cool. I think perhaps Mickie James might have started that. I know that she came out at the Royal Rumble with the TNA World Title.
A couple years ago, she did, yeah.
Yeah. So she is the frontier of that collaboration.
She did, and then it continued on with Jordan Grace, who is a star, a big time star. She was in the Women's Royal Rumble this past year, carried the TNA Championship, and then it just seems like boom, that collaboration has continued under the leadership of Shawn Michaels. I mean, he continues to do great things with NXT, but now not only are people showing up on NXT, Frankie Kazarian showing up on NXT,
yeah, incredible, man. I mean,
they're showing up on TNA show too.
That is crazy. I never thought an NXT wrestler would end up on TNA, but you know what? I love it. I think it's great, and I think that it's going to help both companies regardless.
It's great for wrestling. It's great for wrestling fans to see wrestling companies working together. Ships rising all tides, the phrase that they say there. That's what's happening right now in wrestling when you see these promotions finally willing to break down the walls and the barriers and work together. We as fans win.
Yep. Everybody wins. You're absolutely right.
So it's really cool. Brother Natural has a question. He says, hey, Kurt, would you agree that Jim Johnston, the longtime music man for WWE, belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, God, yeah. He created so many theme songs. He did mine. Obviously, it was a song that somebody else used, the Patriot. But Jim Johnston, man, some of that music that he came up with was just nothing short of amazing. You know, and he did a lot of the WWE, the songs that we would release where talent would sing. And, you know, he was the one that basically came up with the ideas of the songs and everything that he wanted us to do. I did a song, and I think it was the one, I Don't Suck. But, you know, Jim was a pioneer. He really was. And he was Vince's go-to guy for entrance music. And he was incredible. And I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure, man. So many legendary songs. And hey, guys, real quick, get more of the super chats in. We just have about 10 more minutes here with Kurt. Yambag Jones is up next, Kurt. And I think you're going to like this one. Is Kurt going full-on witness protection program with that Father Time beard? Gonna have to dye that thing dark before Mick Foley sues you for stealing a Santa gimmick. Sip of ice cold milk for the working man. Oh man, Kurt, you've just said, "Hey, I'm letting it go, Santa." I don't care. I love it.
The only reason I have this on my face is because my wife loves it.
Oh, I bet she does.
I shaved it a couple months ago, and she's like, "Why? What'd you do?" I said, I look old, like my beard's gray. She said, "No, I love that thing. Grow it back." So I grew it back, and I've been taking care of it, you know, keeping it shorter and just trying to keep up maintenance on it. But my wife, she loves it, so I got to.
You're keeping the under neck clean too, so you don't have the neck beard. Yeah. But you know what, man? The ladies think that it's sexy, and you got that silver fox look going on.
Hey, only one lady matters to me, and that's my beautiful wife, Gable.
Oh God, she is standing there right in front of you right now.
Yes,
she's just giving you the loves and the kisses. I can just picture the whole thing.
She's going.
You better say that. Giovanna, we love you, and yeah, I love it. It's so good. All right, and plus you got an anniversary coming up. You got to behave. You got Nemacolin.
20th, yeah, it's gonna be our 13th anniversary.
13th, yeah. Lucky. I don't know, lucky or unlucky number 13, but yeah, it'll be great. That's fantastic. Zoe Lopez, our next super chat is up. He said, "Which Olympic event are you most excited to watch?"
Really? Obviously, the wrestling.
Yeah.
The USA team has the best team ever in history. Spencer Lee is on the team. Kyle Snyder, Kyle Dake, Mason Paris. We have the women's lineup: Helen Maroulas, Sarah Hildebrandt, Kayla Miracle, Emmett Elor. It's a great team, and I believe they're going to make history. I think they might end up winning a medal in every freaking weight class, men and women's division. Now the Greco division, I think they qualify 3 or 4 guys. You have to qualify for the Olympics. So just because you make the Olympic team in your country doesn't mean you're going to go. You still have to wrestle in tournaments to qualify for it. So there are a couple weight classes that the Greco-Roman team did not qualify in. But I believe the Greco team will have 1 or 2 medals. And I think the freestyle team will have 6, the men's team, and the women's team 5 or 6. I really believe that, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not going to lie to you, I watched the gymnastics, I watched the basketball. Those 2 sports are really, I love watching them because seeing these pro athletes go in there and dominate in basketball is just unbelievable. You know, seeing a dream team like the USA team go out there and perform, it's really great. But I love gymnastics too. I love track and field. I just get really excited during the Olympics. I love it every 4 years. It doesn't come quick enough, and I'm just excited about this Olympics.
Kurt, this is the perfect time to segue into your shirt. The Kurt Angle 1996 Olympic shirt is on its way to you.
I saw that, Paul.
It's on its way to your house right now. Your shirt for you.
Why wouldn't I be the first one to get it?
Well, it's just a little bit of time. I don't know why I'm the first one and you weren't, but yours is on its way. It's being fulfilled and sent to Western Pennsylvania now. But guess who else just bought one?
Who?
Our old friend that we had on the show, Vinny Pacifico, just bought a Kurt Angle 1996 Olympic shirt.
My
And
boy
you,
Vinny.
yeah, yep. And you can too right now at onetruesport.com. But man, how cool is this? 96 Olympics has nothing to do with your pro wrestling, but everything to do
I love
with
it.
where
I
it
love
started
it.
for
It's
you.
vintage.
Yeah.
That is old school, and I love that. I love those kind of designs.
Yeah,
That's
red,
a
white,
really
and blue,
cool
baby.
shirt. Yeah.
So yours should be there just in time for you to watch the Olympics, guys. Grab yours too. Vinny Pacifico will be wearing his all over as he wrestles around the world. So really excited about that. Paul Lewis wants to know, this is an important one, Kurt. Now, this is a tough one. Are you a Swiftie? Are you a fan of Taylor Swift?
You know what? I am a fan, but I'm not as much of a fan as I am of Travis Kelce.
There you go.
I love Travis. My attorney is also Travis Kelce's agent.
Oh.
And, so I just had dinner with him last night. And he does everything for Travis, does all his endorsement deals, his deal with the NFL. But Travis is getting all these offers, like $1 million offers for Hey Dude shoes and a tequila company and all these crazy offers. And he's turning down most of them. And it's, because he doesn't want to make that many commitments. But this guy's in such high demand. It's because he's the best tight end in the NFL. And also he's dating Taylor Swift. So this guy's the most marketable guy in the NFL right now, possibly the whole world. As far as an athlete is concerned, this guy's more marketable than anybody else right now at this point in time.
How insane is it? Now, when you talk to your lawyer, did you say, well, whatever he's turning down, can you throw it my way there, pal?
I did say that.
I
He
mean,
said it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. How about yeah.
He said, your girlfriend's not Taylor Swift.
But you said, my wife's Giovanna. Have you met her?
Giovanna, she's even better.
I mean, did you see the selfie she recently posted on Instagram? Let's get our act together here, everybody.
She's gonna love you said that.
Oh, I mean, it was fire. And then you tried to put something in there about Hawk Tua, and you immediately had to remove that shit. Okay, I knew you were getting slapped around.
I got a lot of heat for that one.
You knew I had to bring that
I
up.
had to take it down.
I know you did. And I'm sitting over here giggling because I'm watching the whole thing unfold. I'm like, I can't wait for the Kurt Angle show. I'm roasting that son of a bitch. I ain't letting that go.
I hope the fans know what we're talking about. I hope.
The fans know about Hawk Tua. Trust me, it's been viral all summer. Kurt put a meme picture up there, that face, and said the face I make when I ask her to Hawk Tua or whatever. And that shit got removed within 5 hours.
You know what? It went viral and then it disappeared.
I love you, man. This is the stuff, because I know you both, that just makes me howl, and it's so entertaining. So good. Somebody let us know too. I love it that New York Sports Wicker Media. I'm having a bite of chicken snacks to get ready. I'm eating cinnamon swirl flavor, and I do miss the sour cream and onion. Kurt, you're still shilling chicken snacks, aren't you? That's still a thing for you, right?
We actually had to shut it down, Paul.
No way.
Yeah. We're still going, but we're selling what's left. And
okay.
We tried. We had a good little run, but it just wasn't picking up as quickly as we wanted it to. So there's only so much money I can put into a company before I say, you know what, this is it. I can't keep going with this. So I decided to make a financial decision, and it was the right one. You
got to do that, man. You got to do it. So for those that still want them, this is the time to grab them until they're out.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And then there'll be collectible items. So if you've not opened the bag, save it, get them to autograph it, and it'll increase in value over time.
It will, but do not eat them. Not after a few years.
Not after a few years. We can't tell you what it's going to do to your system. We got another super chat. Let's throw it in here. It's an Olympic gold medalist question. This will be fun. From Darren Walker. Kurt, what do you think of Olympic gold medalist Tamira Mensah Stock have her name changed in WWE? She's called Tyra May Steele. What say you if WWE had asked you, I guess, if they asked you to change your name? So what do you think about them asking the gold medalist to change her name?
I don't have any idea why they want to do that. She has a name. She built
A brand. Yeah.
name, incredible name. She has a great reputation in wrestling, amateur wrestling, and for them to change her name, it just didn't make any sense. Other than the fact that they wanted to own the name that she was named in the WWE. They keep rights to that name. She can use her real name, but the thing is, you want to use your real name because it makes you more marketable. For her to change her name, and I'm not sure why they did that. I'd imagine it's because they wanted rights to her new name, and that way. But I heard that WWE now that if you leave the company, you get to keep the name that you have in the company.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they did it. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Well, there's a new regime and new idea. And someone reminded us as we transition out of that, because I know we're going to do a few things here to wrap up. They said, if she doesn't hock Tua, you don't talk Tua. So you guys put that together for yourself. I'm such an instigator. I missed you, Kurt. See, this is the fun that we like to have on our show. But Kurt, you have some projects, some things going down, and so we're not sure when we're going to get back together again. But man, this has been a hell of a good time catching up with you. Yeah, we have such a good time together. But a couple things. Now we don't have to promote chicken snacks, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that right off the list. Are we still doing Project One Nutrition?
We are doing Project One Nutrition. Yeah. That's what's picking up, and I'm really happy with that product. The Kurt Angle protein, the American Dream cookies and cream protein. Go to project1nutrition.com to order yours. It's going really well. We just had some talks with Costco and Walmart and all these grocery stores. So it's going to start picking up here, and we're in I believe all the GNCs right now. We finally got in all the GNCs. So we're making headway, and I'm just happy with the product.
Man, that's so great to hear that's really taken off. You deserve it. KurtAngleBrand.com, still active, still strong, guys. You're still doing your Cameo videos, I'm sure.
Yes, I do Cameo. I do it all the time. It's a lot of fun for me. I love doing them because I try to get creative and try to get funny as fuck.
I love it.
And it's just, you know what? It's a good release for me. So I don't look at it as work. When I see one come up, I'm like, oh, I get to do another one. So it's a lot of fun for me.
Man, that's so good. Brian Haremza, this has been so much fun. I've missed my Olympic hero, and guys are chiming in. Hey, guys, this has been fantastic for us too. Real quick too, check out Kurt Angle Brand. As I said, check us out, onetruesport.com, and that's where you're going to find this Kurt Angle shirt that I'm wearing, soon to be in Kurt Angle's hands as well. There's one more design that we want to do for Kurt, and I think it's going to be around your time at Clarion University. When we talk about your roots, no one's really done a real nice Clarion University design for you. And you're a vintage shirt that really complements your accomplishments and what you were able to do there. And that one will be in your hands as soon as it's produced, Kurt.
You know what? I don't know why I never came up with these ideas.
Yeah.
You guys are coming up with some great ideas. I just don't know why I did.
You just need me and Dom. And here we are, and we're finally doing our thing together.
You're my boys. Yeah.
And we want to take care of you. And so here we go. Our final chat question. It's a super chat from Yambag Jones. Does Kurt ever hock Tua on his Olympic gold medals?
Never.
Do you ever get the old hock Tua and then polish him up?
I'm open to it.
You'll do it for a Cameo video request, right? Oh man, he said you got to shine him up real nice. Oh, it's just so good, man. Oh, so good. Kurt, so I mentioned at the top of the show, they can come see you at WrestleCon on that Saturday. Come check it out if they want to be a part of seeing you inducted into the Cauliflower Alley Club mid-August. Buddy, have a great time on your anniversary with Giovanna. Congratulations on 13 years together with your beautiful wife. And yes, if you don't trust me, just go check out our Instagram. You'll see the selfie I mentioned. And then I think that was her response to you with your smart ass comment that you did. It was, yeah, it was her go back. But this has been a great time together with you. Anything else that you want to put over or talk about before we sign off?
No, just I love you, Paul. Love you to death, man.
I appreciate you so much, Kurt, and thank you for being willing to do this with us. Again, on behalf of your Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle, my friend, this is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you sometime down the road right here on The Kurt Angle Show.